Welcome to another Awakener podcast, ladies and gentlemen. This is Matt, the Awakener. Got my producer with me, DoubleWide. We're going to be taking you through a cool show today. Just before we begin, once again, go to theawakener.ca. You can subscribe, follow me, instant news. You can also download my podcast anywhere. You can get blog updates, all kinds of goodies, and there's a whole encyclopedia about what I think is happening right now. Because it is a very deep and dark world, and people are inquisitive. Their minds are starting to open. So once again, if you want to subscribe to the show, go there. There's also a paid section. It's called Patreon, where we have bonus episodes. I thank each and every one of you for subscribing and supporting the show through the Patreon.
Now you get merch, too. When you subscribe.
Now there's merch. There's merch, actually. So go.
Like a nice mug or a sticker. It's like limited edition stuff.
And we'll have more of it soon. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out. DoubleWide, so take me through the latest events of the week.
I've been watching a lot of weird stuff unfold. One of the strangest things that I think I saw this week was Biden talking about the New World Order. Like admitting, well, oh, look, after this Ukraine thing, we're going to have a... Like sometimes he sounds confused as fuck, and then other times, man, he is dialed in. And he was dialed in telling us that there would be a whole new approach to how we're going to operate this world. Here's what he said. Tell me what you think, okay? We're going to there's going to be a new world order out there, and we got to lead it. We got to unite the rest of the free world in doing it. So
the U.S. is going to lead it?
Oh, yeah. So now he's positioning the U.S. as leading this new world order.
Oh.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah. If you can't see what's happening, right, this hidden agenda that's been sold to us for quite some time, this communist takeover is being defeated around the world. And they are going down, and there's been a takeover of elite people that are promoting an agenda that's America, West first, and our enemies don't like it. If you can't figure out what's been going on the last few years, it's pretty easy to see. A blackmailed Hillary, if she was in year 6 right now of her presidency, would be in a much different situation. Likely our enemies would be ready to basically conquer us with this fake war that's about to explode over the planet. And lo and behold, how things have changed. Joe Biden, do you think he's faking it?
What, that he's mental?
Yeah, that he's mental. Well, he's obviously
totally
mental.
Well, he's either the most alert Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's ever, or he's totally faking it. I
think he's faking it. There's no way that you can be coherent sometimes and then other times be completely oblivious to what's going on.
Well, actually, I think I could. I think I proved the case against that myself. But I think of the president, we expect more, right? The other thing that I thought was really weird this week, I don't know if do you remember a couple weeks back, Pelosi's husband got hammered in the head? Remember that?
Everybody remembers that.
What the actual fuck? Now, Trump is even out there saying, I don't know, that a lot of weird stuff going on in that house with investments. Maybe there's something going on with relationships, and none of this seemed to add up. So even Trump is out there saying, I don't know what happened in the Pelosi household, but boy, that was all so weird as well.
I don't know if I have any really theories on that. I thought maybe like they were just like he had a guy over and then it just went all bad.
I kind of wonder if that was the case too.
And he, it just like somebody came over and they turned out to be crazy, and then it just went like I don't know, man. I don't know everything. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, so my gut tells me that this guy, kind of like you say, maybe got into a situation with a friend,
a sexual situation.
I don't know, a friend. I think maybe this guy because I don't know. The 911 call is so weird, and the
he woke up with a dick in his mouth.
I don't know, potentially. I don't know. I have no idea what his dietary habits are. Having said that, I don't think that the 911 operator was too swift either. He was kind of dumb. He was like, "Well, there's a guy here with a hammer," and she's like, "Well, if there's a problem, call back." I mean, he basically said everything except for, "There's a guy here with a fucking hammer. Send the police." But he was trying to keep the guy calm. But
then he goes and attacks right in the middle with the police are there.
It was very strange. Like there was.
You saw the video, right?
Yeah, he didn't want something was not supposed to come out. Something was going to be revealed. That's what I felt, and it was swiftly swept away.
It's pretty funny what's going on. You can see that there really is something going on that a lot of the mainstream media, there's all these events that are happening that are disguising kind of what's at play right now. I think that incident is probably another one, right? Like they don't tell you about the Ohio train incident that happened this past week.
Okay, so what is your theory? A couple of things really shocked me about this. One, the way that it was, the news was not allowed nearby. That struck me as odd.
Which is really strange because everyone is all about the climate nowadays, climate change and all taking care of the world and the earth and everything. And nobody seems to care about this. Doesn't that bother you? Isn't it strange?
I don't know if maybe it's just a tragedy that we're not tuned into, I guess, on a national or international level.
Well, as this war, I think, starts to unfold, you're really going to see embedded assets into the United States and the Western world start to do events like this, where like trains will be derailed, food supplies will be attacked, various things will be done to basically collapse us from within at the same time this war is happening. As you know, I've told you about Hillary's presidency, and we were destined to lose this war that was being planned for us. So there's a reverse agenda that's happening to defeat the enemy, which is my assessment years ago. And basically, if you think about all these spies that have been embedded in us for quite some time, when the war happens, all this stuff is going to just explode. You're going to see all these drones, these weird balloons, spy balloons. You're going to see train derailments. You're going to see farms burning, food processing facilities burnt.
Well, it's so wild, too, because out of China this week, their official response to the U.S. taking down this spy balloon. By the way, I fully believe that it's some sort of diversion. Like, there's just too much in the way of technology out there already that I don't know how could we not detect a friggin' balloon? Anyway, but China is now turning it into, oh my God, you guys are ridiculous. Shooting down balloons? What if there was humans inside that? What if it had gone off the wrong way? This is
right, or blaming the U.S. for having balloons over its territory, which is completely nonsense. Because if you know anything about, the U.S. military and their ability to spy through satellites, the technology they have is out of this world. They don't need a balloon, man.
I think China's in the same boat, frankly.
I don't think China's technology is quite in the same boat. I don't think so. I think that they do have access, to a lot of technology, but when it comes down to it, I don't think they're able to pinpoint. Do you know what I mean?
It's made of plastic, is what you're saying.
Well, it's cheap Chinese equipment. It's knockoff equipment of ours, basically. So the enemy, which has stolen technology from us and gotten power using that technology, it's just not quite up to the same standards as ours. That's why they need to resort to using. I fully believe the Chinese spy balloon was them going over the Minuteman sites and them going over the Panama Canal, because in a war, those are two major factors.
I would agree. So it just looks like another propaganda machine going back and forth, diverting us away from.
Well, this is they blame.
It's like Biden saying, "Oh, there's a new world order, and we're going to try and take at it."
Well, they tried to blame us for for COVID as well, right? They said it was us who did it and it wasn't them, but clearly it came out from a Chinese lab that was working with the U.S. or the Chinese military. And although there was U.S. donations to this lab and the technology was probably given or stolen. And the Chinese did it to, obviously at the time, because the truth was coming out about Hunter Biden. Interesting story. I had somebody message me and tell me that I was basically a complete idiot. It's so funny now that you have, you come out in public and all your friends are like, oh, look what you're doing and all the stuff you're doing.
You are an idiot, just for the record.
Ha ha ha.
Let's not deny it.
So he comes out and he's like, you're so off base politically. You don't understand what's going on. And these people have no clue, man. My one response was look at this government document from Patrick Ho's, court case, when the government came forward and says we're going to submit a bunch of evidence, and this evidence that we have is about a FISA warrant. Well, the date that this document the government provided was in February of 2018. The government had been surveilling Patrick Ho for years before this. Years. And obviously had been listening to Joe Biden, Hunter Biden's conversations for quite some time. Right. So what's happening is a direct result of things that have happened in the past, including Hillary's email server with They say sometimes, I guess, child pornography was on this email server. And you think about the blackmail that was going on. What a better way to create this huge scandal that was going to be permitted on her presidency, where there was all this child pornography on her emails, and she'd be forced to do this war as a way out. Do you know what I mean? All the things that is happening with Joe Biden and everything, it's all related. Everything. So when Joe Biden speaks, we got to really kind of pay attention to everything he's saying.
What about Michael Flynn this week saying, by the way, COVID vaccines will be placed in salad dressings in the future, that it's something that they've already been looking at? I mean, Michael Flynn, by the way, he's had some outrageous things to say along the way, and of course he just loves attention, I think, in a lot of ways. But his idea is actually being accepted by scientists that it could be much like nutrients, vitamins, or minerals added to dietary supplementation of everyday products.
Or crickets.
That's what we're going to be eating, apparently. So I just thought that was a very interesting addendum. Also, China this week out there saying, oh, by the way, don't forget, America created monkeypox. So before anybody tells you we created it, fuck no, America did that.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious by now to most people that, you exist in a world where there's a power war, or there's a war for power and control that's happening right now. And it doesn't matter where you live, you're not going to be able to get away from it.
That feels like drip. That feels like the drip, drip, drip to me.
Well, the information that's coming out is the I guess the lead to truth, I should say, which is everyone's going to figure out where we stand, what's going on. Which would be the opposite of Hillary's presidency, would be fed nothing but lies, I think, nothing but deceit, and I think we'd be led to the slaughter. And in fact, the West is waking up, and our enemies are now panicked because all of a sudden this agenda, like people are against the World Economic Forum and all this stuff. It's not necessarily about the World Economic Forum, the World Health Organization. It's that they don't work in the best interests of the West and freedom, doing what's best for society, promoting Western values. If the WEF was completely anti-communist, right, and it was on our side, I mean, the world needs to come together. But we can't come together under the guise of communism. We can't go. We can't be promoting fascism. All these ideologies. We really have to respect the individual, and this is kind of what the problem is. So, look what's happening. The war against Elon Musk. Elon Musk comes. He's incredibly rich, and he's using his money toward maybe the benefit of our side, and now everyone's attacking him, right?
I think that is that's a fair assessment. I have to tell you, over the last week, even in my household, the number of questions over UFOs is skyrocketing.
Do you believe there's UFOs?
Well, I think there's many objects in the sky we can't identify. Yeah. Do I think they're from another planet? I don't know.
I don't believe for 1 second. I believe that, some of these things that people could be surveillance drones from plants that are embedded within our nation, right? Like somebody could be spying on whatever. We can't keep track of every single thing they put in the sky. It could be like a little homemade balloon.
TA, I'm going to tell you a story. I was in the Nevada desert with a bunch of guys making a TV show at one point, and we met up with these documentary makers from the UK. They'd been living in the desert for 9 weeks. We went out and had chicken over a fire with these guys and hung out with them for the night. And they said, you will not believe this evening what you will see in the sky. And I have to tell you, what came out of the U.S. military secret bases in that Nevada desert would literally fuck you up. And I think most of it was projection on the sky. Having said that, I don't know. But what we saw was really strange moving vehicles in the sky, all of it military.
Yeah, the U.S. probably has tons of classified programs that they're running right now for advanced fighters, for advanced technologies that we don't know about.
These guys said that they saw stuff crash at least once a week since they got there.
I mean, I would love to go to Area 51. I think that's amazing. I'm totally into this kind of stuff. Right?
I should also say that it wasn't Area 51 that I speak of. There's several installations in the Nevada desert we just ignore, and this was outside one of them. By the way, they were allowed to be there given permission by the U.S. government. So just really wild. Do I believe in UFOs? No. But do I think that it's a great example of what the news does to us? We focus in, and then the algorithms take over. So if you think there isn't an agenda, if you think that there isn't a narrative, You're fucking crazy. We create the narrative for ourselves. Come on, people,
Right.
pay attention.
And that's what I think is happening. There's two narratives that are happening right now. So obviously the narrative that would be selling or be sold to us in Hillary's presidency is not the narrative we're receiving now. Like the flow of information, quite frankly, is controlled either way, which is not necessarily a good thing, but it's, it has to be like, what side are you on? If you don't believe that there's an operation that's going on right now to do something, whatever that may be, then I think you're pretty confused. It's pretty imperative to me that the information control from both sides is happening and is leading us down a path to everyone kind of figuring out where we are and what's happening. Do you agree with that?
I do.
It's like this podcast, for example, right? So, the enemy doesn't want people to know or want me to talk about what is happening. At the same time, I don't necessarily believe the good people want me talking about what's going on because maybe I'm revealing a little bit too much at the same time.
By the way, congratulations on lasting 8 minutes this time on YouTube before they took you down.
Yeah, amazing. If I think that the powers that are operating this right now want people to wake up in a continued pace without freaking out. And I think taking people to a dark place too fast or explaining what's actually happening, that there's, the West has enemies, for example, and there's people who want to destroy our society that would love to just run rampant and kill us. They exist. And I don't think the people who are in control of this don't want people to understand that all right away. That has to be something like people had to experience COVID. Do you agree?
Oh, 100%.
And if there's worse things coming in a war against us and worse pandemics, then people say, well, why did Trump lock everybody down? It's because maybe it's to toughen us up. So maybe you experienced a lockdown before, you realize how crappy that was. Do you want to experience that again? No. Okay, so when the next pandemic hits or when something happens, are we going to lock down again or are we going to be tougher? There's an ebb and flow of information and control in both ways in this power, in this war. It's not something that's completely one-sided. Does that make sense to you?
Listen, I'm going to tell you, I would agree. And by the way, things like...
Is this better for the Patreon?
Yeah, let's go to the Patreon. Okay, come join us over there. Because the other thing I want to talk about, we can't talk about here. And that is he or they who shall not be named, or you get taken off the internet.